The answer is I would describe it as a very risky portfolio. I'm not sure the other assets will necessarily diversify as much as you would want, but it's your choice. It's as long as you appreciate the risks that are involved. I'm not here to tell you or give you advice about the portfolio you construct. The one thing I would say though, you have to realise that the level of risk, because you're basing a lot of the assumptions there about how well it's doing, how much it's held up, and technology stocks have been a very popular place for investment managers to go into. You'll never get moaned at by a client for buying Apple stocks, or shares in Amazon or things like that, regardless of what's going on or how well they're doing. Even if they tumbled, you go, well, it's Apple, it's Amazon, and of course the clients would be quite happy. So what you're getting is people narrowing into a very small number of stocks, which actually increases the level of risk that's involved in owning those, because what will happen at some point, almost inevitably, we will see the bubble almost pop on those, or we'll see a rotation out of those stocks into maybe other sectors that are unloved. Now, of course, with this environment that we've got now, it's the work from home era. We're getting things like Amazon do well. We're looking at things like Netflix doing pretty well. And the reason for that is because we're all being forced to use them. What will happen when we're not all forced to use them? And to give you an idea, technology stocks have done very well in this sell-off, and that's partly because of what people are having to stay at home and everything goes online. And the growth stocks, as I was mentioning, these tech ones, do tend to do quite well in low interest rate environments, and that's because the pot of gold, the future earnings that they're going to have after they've conquered the world, when you discount them back with interest rates when they're low, that makes them more valuable, because a lot of tech companies don't make a lot of money. Not the ones that I've mentioned, but other tech companies don't necessarily make a lot of money just yet. Amazon, Apple, Facebook, Microsoft, they currently make up more than 20% of the S&P 500, the US stock market. That's way more than any time since the 1990s. It's way more than the tech boom, the dot-com area that bust. I mean, those companies weren't involved in that period, but the top 5 stocks in the dot-com era, the dot-com bubble, they weren't actually necessarily tech stocks. They made a much smaller percentage of the overall market. So what we're seeing is the market is becoming quite stretched. The valuation of the market is now nearing levels that we had before the sell-off. So that's the price you're paying for the supposed earnings that are coming through, which are in themselves are unreliable, because we don't know what's going to happen with the coronavirus. And the other thing to point out is we're in earnings seasons, and these companies have yet to announce their earnings results for this period that includes the coronavirus. So hopefully they will be doing well, but there's the assumption that they will be obviously untouchable, and that can't be the case necessarily, especially not for Alphabet, which is Google, because don't forget they make a lot of money from marketing, people spending on adverts, so they're going to probably be hit. So the answer is, to your question, it's risky. I'm not saying it's a great portfolio, it's up to you, but you are essentially doing what a lot of fund managers are doing and a lot of people are doing. They're narrowing into a smaller number of stocks, and at some point that rotates, that will more than likely come to an end. I don't know when, and it might go on for years where it doesn't, but be aware of the risks.